Welcome back to the channel. This is Trinity Storm and you are watching ninth part of What If Naruto Became a Player. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. Now wasting no more time, let's start the story.
You've been to bed and slept there. HP and CP have been fully fixed. There were good reasons for him to sleep in his own bed. Karen finally got her own apartment, and for the first time in a week, he was able to sleep in his own bed. Across the street from him, but still her own. Isn't his. Hers. And it was amazing. He loved his cousin like a sister, but they were so much alike that they always seemed to irritate each other and play jokes on each other. It might as well have been war, and Kami would have helped anyone who got caught in the middle. Naruto was glad to wake up, take a shower, and put on clean clothes to start his day. He was even happy to start making rice and grilled fish for himself for breakfast. No picky cousin to say how bad his food is. Morning, Karen said as she walked into his apartment without even knocking. What's on the menu for breakfast? Don't you have your own place now? Why don't you make yourself breakfast? Meh, she said, giving a noncommittal shrug. What exactly does that mean? It means, why should I cook when I have a slave living next door who will gladly cook for me just so he can get some practice? Also, Ero Sennin should be here soon to pick us up for training. Naruto let out a sigh of defeat. She was right, and he felt like crying because of it. So, he made 4 servings because he knew Asuma and the pervert would arrive before he was done. And, just as Jiraiya had said he would, he snuck in through the window and sat down without saying anything. The man was massaging his head, trying to get rid of some of the obvious hangover he had. At least Asuma knocked on the door before walking in. Everyone ate breakfast quietly and enjoyed their food. So, what are we going to do today? Naruto pushed his empty bowl away and asked. Training the last week had been intense. Jiraiya started giving out training quests in addition to Asuma, which led to 2 extra levels and a shit ton of skill experience. So far, we've been working on your ninjutsu and summoning skills, and you've reached the maximum number of bonus stat points for now. Based on your quest, you still need a few more jutsu and some more skill levels in Fuinjutsu. So, today we're going to get through those levels quickly. I already bought you Advanced Fuinjutsu skill book, so all you have to do is grind, and I have a few formulas you might like. Asuma added, again, I'll take a few clones and Karen to train. Take Kichi, too, Naruto said, calling up the small toad and making copies of it. Hey, bro, what's up? Training again, lil buddy, Naruto said, handing the boy a small candy. Kichi asked, am I going with Smokestack again? Yes, Ero Sennin is going to help me with my Fuinjutsu. Cool, good luck, bro, said Kichi. The little toad then jumped and landed on one of Naruto's clones. Naruto looked at Jiraiya after Asuma and Karen had left with the clones and toad. So then, what are we really doing? Jiraiya grinned. Caught on, did you? This is just a guess, but I think you could get my clones to do this work. So, what are your real plans? Okay, kid, I am a spy master. Do you understand what that means? Getting information without getting caught, Naruto said. Partially. I also manage a number of assets outside of Konoha that gather information for me. Some do it for revenge, others for money, and some for the thrill and danger of it. But the point is that knowing something gives you power, Jiraiya said. So you're going to teach me how to spy? Right, and who do we want to watch? My opponents, Naruto said, understanding what Jiraiya was trying to say. Yes, and maybe some other interesting characters, like that Kabuto guy you were suspicious of during the tests. Naruto nodded. How do we start? Information gives you power. Find out what you can about your possible opponents for the last round of the exam. Objectives. Learn. Get to level 52. Find out what you can about your first opponents in the 3rd round without getting caught. Find out information about at least 3 other possible 3rd round opponents without getting caught. Goals for extras. Award for completion, 500,000. 100,000 express per bonus objective. Completion failure, 100,000 express. You can start with this, he told the boy, pulling a scroll from his vest and tossing it to him lightly. You now have the Toten Jutsu skill scroll. Do you want to learn how to do it? What does it mean to have transparency skills? I made this method years ago. In fact, it's the first jutsu I ever made up on my own. This is the best way to spy, he said, and then he did a few quick hand seals to make himself completely see-through. Naruto blinked a few times to try to see Jiraiya, but the only sign that he was there was that things looked a little bit different through him. Wow, that's pretty cool. Naruto pressed a button to say yes. You now know, Toten Jutsu. Toten Jutsu, active, level 1 express, 0.00% 50 every 5 seconds. Jiraiya's original transparent technique was made so he could spy on the many bathhouses in Konoha. Later, he changed it so it could be used in battle and to get information. Makes the user see through while they are active. There is a 99% greater chance of being found while active. Wow, I have a lot of work to do on that. It says that there is a 99% chance that I will be found out. He had just finished speaking when he got news about his most recent quest. Information gives you power. Find out what you can about your possible opponents for the last round of the exam. Objectives. Figure out Toten Jutsu. Get Toten Jutsu to level 50. Find out what you can about your first opponents in the third round without getting caught. Find out information about at least 3 other possible third round opponents without getting caught. Goals for extras. Award for completion, 500,000. 100,000 express per bonus objective. Completion failure, 100,000 express. Let's get to work then, Jiraiya said. Have a clone work on the Fuinjutsu while you start using that new skill. We'll work on it for a few days depending on how quickly you level it up, and then we'll use it. Naruto nodded and turned on the skill without saying anything. The 50 levels he had to gain for the quest's goal were a lot, and the way he did it wasn't very cheap. He had a very long week ahead of him. Naruto's chakra was drained to less than 500 CP in about 8 minutes, but that time gave him 8 levels. Even though leveling up would slow down a lot soon, he was going to push himself to get through it as quickly as possible right now. Are you already out of chakra? Jiraiya asked. Yeah, it'll take a few minutes to fill back up. Use the Kyuubi for a short burst to fill up your reserves, and then start over. Jiraiya gave him a book and said, and while you're at it, read this. Spycraft 101, Naruto said out loud as he read the title. Is this going to help? Jiraiya shrugged. Perhaps, and it won't hurt. You might even learn something useful. Is there a reason we don't do this on the training grounds? This is about when the other competitors will start trying to do what we're getting you ready to do. You do 2 things when you do this. First, you can train here in secret while they watch the clones at the training field. Second, this method will sneak up on you and give you a nice surprise. Oh, said Naruto lamely. So get back to work, the old man said. It was a lot of work, but it was worth it. Naruto just sat on his couch and read while he was transparent. When he ran out of chakra, he used Kyuubi's to get more and then went back to being transparent. The level of Kyuubi's cloak has gone up by 1. This item is now called Kyuubi's Cloak 1 Tail. Kyuubi's Cloak 1 Tail, active or passive LV10, express, 0.12% corruption, 0.25% every 5 seconds. Your deal with the devil has both good and bad effects. The Kyuubi's Cloak will give you huge boosts to most of your stats, but the corruption that comes with it puts everything and everyone in danger. Get back 0.90% of your HP automatically every 5 seconds. Get back 0.65% CP automatically every 5 seconds. When active, STR goes up by an extra 100%. When active, you get an extra 100% hydrogen phosphide. When active, Dex gets an extra 100%. When active, CP goes up by 100%. When active, it adds 100% to Def. When active, SPD goes up by 100%. When active, Whis goes down by an extra 50%. When active, you regain 100% of your HP. When active, you get back all of your CP. Bonus for each head. When active, STR goes up by an extra 50%. When active, you get an extra 50% hydrogen phosphide. When active, Dex gets an extra 50%. When active, CP goes up by 50%. When active, it adds 50% to Def. When active, SPD goes up by an extra 50%. 0.25% more corruption every 5 seconds. What the hell? When the message showed up, Naruto said. What did you do now, brat? Asked Jiraiya. The Kyuubi's cloak changed over time. Now, it's called Kyuubi's Cloak 1 Tail. What the hell does that mean? Probably more of Kyuubi's chakra, a bigger boost to your stats, and corruption that happens faster. That's what it says, but can I choose how many tails I want? What if I just want the regular cloak? Will I always get just one tail? Why don't you give it a try and find out? So he did. He turned on the cloak by itself, then ordered, one tail, in his mind. This made a tail made of chakra bubble out of his lower back. It was messy, but it was still a tail. He did figure out that he had to back down. He turned off the one tail first, then the cloak a little while later. So? I can control how much I activate, but it's slow, both to add and remove the tail. Jiraiya drew some seals and gave them to a clone to copy and learn from. He said, you can probably get better at that with more practice. Naruto made a small frown. That was yet another thing he'd have to work on in the 3 weeks he had left before his exams. Given how much he'd already learned, that did sound like a lot of time, but he still needed to improve on what he'd already learned or it wouldn't help him at all. You've been to bed and slept there. HP and CP have been fully fixed. It took Naruto 3 days to get his Totenjutsu to level 50, but by the time he did, it was already late at night. Jiraiya decided to wait until morning to start spying, which gave him 3 more levels in the skill. So, he made breakfast for his trainers and his cousin once more. He then sent one of his trainers and his cousin to the training field with a bunch of clones while he stayed with Jiraiya. Okay kid, let's get started, said Jiraiya. How do we start? Jiraiya gave him a flat look. Really? Naruto laughed in a worried way. Just kidding, just kidding. I have to find Sasuke and Kakashi-sensei first. Good, and how did you do that? I need to find out where they both go often so I can ask around. How do you plan to do that? Under Henge, I change how I look for every person I ask. Good, now go to it, said Jiraiya. I'll keep working on your Fuinjutsu with your clone. But I got to the 10th level, so why keep going? Jiraiya asked, are you saying you couldn't use more than 10 levels of what has turned out to be a very useful skill? I guess not, Naruto said in a sheepish way. Good, now again, go, the man said, pointing to the front door this time. Before leaving his apartment, Naruto did a quick henge to make himself look like one of the other people who lived in the building. He did this so that no one would see him leave or notice that he was leaving. When he was about 6 blocks from his apartment, he went into an alley and changed his henge. When he came out of the alley, he looked different. At least 3 more times, he did this, and then he went to a tea shop that Kakashi liked. He went in as a pregnant woman with a pretty face, using parts of the faces of several women he'd seen in the village that morning. Oh, sorry, Naruto said in a soft voice that fit the image he was trying to make. One of the waitresses said, hello, young miss. How can I help you? I'm trying to find someone, and I was told that he comes to this shop often. But who is that? Do you know a Kakashi-kun? Hatake-san comes here a lot. Why do you need him? Naruto scratched his fake baby bump. I need to talk with him about something. Oh. Oh. Oh, I see, the waitress said. I haven't seen him in almost a week, which is sad. And the last time I saw him, he was walking with one of his students and some camping gear toward the Hokage monument. Naruto said, I see. I guess I'll have to wait until he comes back. Thank you for your time. Sure. Naruto could have gotten the same information in a dozen different ways, and hurting his reputation with the rumors that were sure to spread like wildfire was probably a bit mean, but it made Naruto feel better. Naruto took a few more shortcuts and met some new people on his way to the monument in the area of mountains behind it. People from the village liked to camp there, but sometimes shinobi would go up there to train just because it was rocky. It seems that old grudges against Iwagakure ran deep. Before he got his first solid, Naruto had to ask at a few civilian campsites. Che, can you believe those shinobi nuts? Yelled a man who had clearly had too much to drink. Oh, come on, Dad, it was awesome. They were climbing a rock face with one arm tied behind their backs, argued his son. Naruto asked, what do you think they are doing up there? This time, he pretended to be another hiker who was just being friendly. Bah, hell if I know, the father said. I bet they're practicing for the Chunin exam finals. I've been begging my dad to take me, but he says it's a waste of time and money, especially since his shop gets a lot of extra business during the exam. And it's true, said the father. Anyway, I don't know what they're doing. The boy made me hike closer, but we couldn't find a way up to their campsite. We did hear a lot of birds chirping, though. Naruto adjusted the fake hiking pack and asked, "Can you tell me which way to go?" "I'd rather not go that way. That plateau over there seems to be their spot," the father said, pointing west from where they were. "Thanks a lot, but I should get going, it's a long walk back to the village," Naruto said as he stood up and did some stretching. He had been talking to the two of them for some time. Once Naruto was back in the forest, he heard the two talking again. "Do you think he was one of the competitors who had come to spy on Kakashi-san?" "No, I'm just a normal person hiking. No Genin's henge will fool me," the kid said. Naruto just shook his head. He had just fooled two of Kakashi's guards, he thought. Or did they come to watch over Sasuke? In either case, it was a lot of fun. It took him a while to get around that campsite because he was trying to stay out of sight. He finally got to the rock face that led up to the plateau. There were signs that it had been climbed recently. He looked around for a more stealthy way to get up, but couldn't find one. So, Naruto used his Toten Jutsu, and climbed the wall by using the same path that either Kakashi or Sasuke had taken. When he got to the top, he found Sasuke and Kakashi eating lunch. Kakashi asked, "Ready to try again?" "HN. Use your words," Kakashi told the man, and the way he said it made it sound like the man had said it 1,000 times before. "Yes, sensei." Kakashi just rolled his eyes. "Alright, here's the wall. Let's see if you can break through it deeper than you did yesterday, eh?" Naruto looked at the wall that Kakashi had mentioned. There were a few holes about the size of your hand all over it. Some of the holes seemed to go quite deep, but most of them just barely broke the surface. Then he turned around and looked at Sasuke. He wanted to see how far he'd come. Name: Uchiha Sasuke. Genin, plus 10 points added to the amount of experience gained. Level: LV30 next level, 98.14%. Belongs to Konoha. HP: 950/950ths. CP: 2622,620ths. STR: 55. VIT: 95. Dex: 277. Int: 262. Wis: 187. Luck: 1. Def: 75. SPD: 208. Status: Double Tomo Sharingan, plus 7, Dex, plus 8, Int, plus 5, Wis per level, Avenger, plus 25% to all stats when attacking Uchiha Itachi, Firebug, Kaden Jutsu costs 15% less, does 10% more damage. Sasuke Uchiha is the last loyal member of the infamous Uchiha clan to still be alive. They are known for their Sharingan Dujutsu, which has helped them do well as shinobi. His past is so clouded by the pain and suffering of losing his family that revenge is all he has left. Sasuke blurred through a few seals before wrapping his left hand around his right wrist and pumping chakra through it into his open hand. At first, it happened slowly, but then a spark of electricity danced across his palm, then another and another. It kept getting bigger until his hand was sparking like crazy and making a sound like birds chirping. Then, Sasuke rushed at the wall and smashed his hand into it, just past his wrist. "That's much better, Sasuke, but you're still not fast enough, and it still takes you too long to form the Chidori. Even when you did, you got impatient and charged ahead before it was fully formed. Let's try it one more time, and then we'll work on your taijutsu again." "Why bother? The Dobi already doesn't have a chance. This isn't about your fight with Naruto. It's about getting ready for Gaara, if you even make it past Naruto. And let me say this again, just to make sure you understand. The Chidori is an assassination technique and should never be used against Naruto or anyone else from Konoha. Am I clear? Yes, stop harping on it already. I heard you the first time, the second time, and every time after that. But I don't think you're listening at all," Kakashi said. "Okay, let me try another strategy. If you use this in your fight with Naruto, I will rip off your arm and beat you to death with it in front of the whole stadium crowd. Does that make sense?" When Kakashi said he would kill him, it was clear that he was very serious, and Sasuke's face turned pale. "I've got it, I promise." Kakashi said, "Now I believe you, so let's try again so we can practice taijutsu while your chakra heals." While the two trained, Naruto sat very still at the edge of the clearing. Even though Kakashi's threat made him feel a little bad about the pregnant girl looking for him trick, he didn't feel bad for long because he saw Kakashi teaching Sasuke taijutsu. After Sasuke tried yet another Chidori, Kakashi put him through his paces and taught him a taijutsu that was almost identical to Lee's, even though Sasuke wasn't as strong as Lee and was quite a bit slower. After about an hour of watching the two, Naruto got a quest alert that told him he had done his job and could leave this particular spying mission. Not long after that, Naruto went back to the village to look for Gaara, his next target. He already knew where Gaara lived in the village, so it wasn't too hard. So Naruto set up camp on the roof of the building across from him and waited. It was hard to keep up the Toten Jutsu for so long while he kept watching. Luckily, he had learned in the past 3 days that he could use other jutsu while the Toten Jutsu was active, so the Raiden, Chakra Denka no Jutsu, had gotten a good workout. Naruto kept an eye on the building, but Gaara either never left or was never there. He didn't think he'd see Kabuto come into the building so late at night. Almost as soon as Kabuto walked into the building, Gaara left through the door and went up to the roof, where he sat on a ledge and just looked out at the village. He had to choose between keeping an eye on Gaara in case he did something or trying to find out what Kabuto was up to. Kabuto won. With as much stealth and control as he could muster, he made his way to the building. His recently upgraded goggles showed him where the chakra sources were. Mini-map with chakra sensor display to face. Add a mini-map display to the eye protection. Makes a map that shows your location, the terrain around you, and any chakra sources in the area. He found that the building had only 4 signatures, and they were all on the 3rd floor. Naruto saw Kabuto and Baki talking quietly as they walked out onto the 3rd floor balcony. He hid by attaching himself to the balcony ceiling just below them. Plans? Kabuto asked. No, Kazekage-sama doesn't doubt the plan. He's just worried about that man because he doesn't have a good reputation for being trustworthy. He wouldn't risk this because it means too much to him. Is Gaara ready? Does he know what he needs to do? Baki said, he'll be ready, with a firm voice that only shook a little bit. He had better be, for all of our sakes, said Kabuto. Does he know that the Uchiha shouldn't be hurt for good? If the Uchiha is hurt for good, he won't be happy. Things happen when you fight. He'll do his best, but what makes you think the Uchiha can beat the Uzumaki? Naruto-kun is a joke. He's a terrible shinobi. He was last in his graduating class this year, and from what I know about him, his teammates probably helped him get through the exam. He looked like he had enough taijutsu skill to beat that Hyuga girl in a fight. The failed heiress wasn't much a win, and kin was always meant to be a sacrifice, so it wasn't a big deal. Baki said, I see, but his voice showed that he wasn't sure. It's too late to back out now, Baki-san. Put away your doubts and tell me what you're going to do about our little spy problem. Naruto's blood stopped flowing for a moment because he was caught. But the sudden movement below him made him look down and see a Konoha Junin running away quickly. Hayate, the judge from the preliminary rounds, was there. I'll take care of him, and you should leave before someone else sees you. Baki went after Hayate while Kabuto went back into the room. Naruto had to choose once more. He could keep following Kabuto and try to figure out who was pulling his strings, or he could help Hayate. If Kakashi hadn't said what he did, he might have gone after Kabuto. After all, people who leave their friends behind are worse than trash. So Naruto kept a safe distance from Baki. The Junin was way too strong for Naruto to face, but if he saw a chance, he'd take it. Baki caught up with Hayate pretty quickly, forcing the Junin to fight even though he was trying to run away. Hayate immediately pulled out a sword to protect himself and fight back, while Baki attacked with a mix of taijutsu and ninjutsu. It moved so quickly that Naruto had trouble keeping up. He almost lost an arm to one of Baki's wind blades. Naruto wanted to learn how to make wind blades, so he tried to remember what Baki was doing to make them. Too bad Naruto couldn't help in any way because it was over so quickly. Baki caught Hayate's sword after it bit into a man's shoulder, but not deep enough to kill or cripple him. Then Baki had Hayate cornered, so it wasn't a surprise when he used a close-range wind blade to cut through Hayate's stomach and chest. Naruto saw the man's HP quickly go down to a flashing red state and keep going down. You were skilled, but not skilled enough, Baki told him briefly before disappearing without a trace and leaving Hayate to die. Naruto, on the other hand, was already climbing on the roof and pulling out all of his Shozen Fuda Grade 3 cards. Hold on, Hayate-sensei, Naruto begged, quickly putting on tags and giving them a little chakra to make them work. It was very hard, and the rate at which Hayate was losing HP worried Naruto a lot, but his Fudo was keeping up and even making up a little ground. Hayate was sometimes awake and sometimes not, and he would sometimes call out for Yugo, whoever that was. Naruto didn't care much about what the man was saying because he was burning through tags too quickly to care about what he was saying. If Hayate lived, he would be able to say as much as he wanted. Hayate stopped bleeding when he was down to just 5 Fuda. He had reached a stable state. Still, Naruto used the last 5 to make him a little more stable so they could get to the hospital and do the rest. He made a dozen copies of himself and told 6 of them to pick up Hayate and carry him to the hospital while the other 6 formed a circle around him and led the way. Thank goodness, the trip went without a hitch. Naruto and his clones ran into the hospital shouting, "I have an emergency here." One of the nurses rushed up to him with a cart and asked, "What the hell happened?" "He was attacked." "I stopped the bleeding, but he's still badly hurt," Naruto said quickly. "He needs to be watched over at all times." A moment later, a few Anbu showed up. One of them was a woman with long purple hair who rushed over to Hayate and grabbed his hand tightly. When he looked at her, all he saw was Neko LV. Just like every other Anbu. "Come with us," Bear said, pointing in Naruto's direction. Naruto nodded and followed. It wouldn't be good for his health to fight or make a scene. They ended up on a secure floor of the hospital with guards everywhere he looked. All of the guards wore masks, and each one had a question mark next to their name to show what level they were. Seeing so much power in one place was very scary. "Sit," Bear said, pointing to a chair outside the room Hayate had just been wheeled into. "What happens now?" Naruto asked, but no one answered him. After being told to sit for a few minutes, Jiraiya came in. "Kid, what in the hell did you stumble into?" Naruto quickly told Jiraiya what had happened, leaving nothing out and trying not to make anything up. Jiraiya rubbed his chin and thought, "Damn kid, you either have the worst luck I've ever seen or the best luck I've ever seen. I can't decide which." Naruto asked, "So, what happens now?" "We will tell the Hokage what you found out, but you won't tell anyone that Hayate is still alive." "Won't the lack of a dead body be a dead giveaway?" "Anbu is already putting on a show," he quickly replied. "Oh, I see." Naruto and Jiraiya were both thinking about something else when the door to the hospital room opened again, letting out a group of doctors, most of whom looked very happy. "He lived then?" Naruto asked as he jumped out of his chair. "Thanks to you," one of the doctors told the patient. "The healing seals you used saved his life, or at least kept him alive long enough for him to get here. Good job." The praise made Naruto blush. "It just so happened that I was in the right place at the right time." "You were," said Neko, who was the last one to leave the room. The woman got down on her knees and looked him in the eyes. He didn't like how the woman in the mask just stood there and looked at him. He finally had to say something. "What? Why are you just staring at me like that?" He found out the answer when Neko lifted her mask to the top of her head and showed him her face and the name, Azuki Yugo LV. When he saw her face, he was mesmerized. She was beautiful, and her eyes showed so much gratitude that it was too much for him to handle. He had no choice but to turn very red. Even more surprising was when she put her hands on each side of his face and kissed him. Kissed him really, really hard. When the kiss was over, he asked, "Wah. What was that for?" "You saved a man I love more than life itself. That was my way of saying thank you in a way that would make sure you know how grateful I am," Yugo said. She then stood up straight, put the mask back on her face, and changed her name back to Neko LV. She went back into the hospital room without saying anything else. "Wow," Naruto said, understanding what she said and loving that kiss with just one word. "You lucky little jerk," Jiraiya moaned. Jiraiya's comment made Naruto laugh and blush. "Come on, brat, let's go. You have a report to give to the old man, and the sooner that's done, the sooner we can get back to your apartment." "I can't wait to tell Asuma and Karen about this," he laughed. "What? No, Ero Sennin, don't do that. Karen will never stop talking about it." "Oh, and what are you going to give me to keep quiet about it?" Jiraiya teased, laughing the whole way. "I'm your godson, you owe me," Naruto yelled. "Since you're my godson, I should tell everyone in Konoha about this." "You should be proud," because you don't get your first kiss from a hottie like that every day. Damn you, Ero Sennin. Naruto yelled, but the pervert just laughed more. Status. Name. Uzumaki Naruto. The gamer's class. Genin, plus 10 points added to the amount of experience gained. Level. LV32 next level, 77.51%. Belongs to Konoha. HP. 6663 6663. CP. 5021 5021. STR. 114, 36.40, equals 150.40. VIT. 97, 249.25, equals 346.25. Dex. 114, 86.42, equals 200.42. Int. 73, 109.13, equals 182.13. WIS. 71, 62.13, equals 133.13. Luck. Def. 239, 59.75, equals 298.75. SPD. 79, 128.63, equals 207.63. Status. Uzumaki Clan Heir, plus 100 Vit, plus 100 Int, plus 150% experience to Fuinjutsu. Skill, Kyuubi Jinchuriki, plus 100 HP and plus 100 CP per level. Inspirational Leader, plus 25% to any team's experience gain. Kamikaze, 25% cost to Futon Jutsu, plus 20% damage to Futon Jutsu. Uzumaki Naruto is the last person to graduate this year. He got a low grade because he couldn't make a basic bunshin. After the test, Naruto showed his worth by stopping a traitor and learning 2A rank Kinjutsu. Now that his family is known, he has a lot to be proud of. He is the son of the Yondaime Hokage Namikaze Minato and the Nidaime Kyuubi Jinchuriki Uzumaki Kushina, which is a great legacy. But that doesn't answer the question of how the Kyuubi got away. Point. 26. Ryo. 454,650. In Naruto, the gamer file's stats, there are changes to other stats. And that's what I heard, Naruto said, as he sat down next to the old man. Well done, Naruto-kun, very, very well done, praised Sarutobi. So, it looks like Kabuto is a spy, but for whom? So he was just there to spy on the other students. But why was he so interested in Sasuke? Was he working for Orochimaru? It seems likely, but we don't have any proof. All we know for sure is that he was sent to the Chunin exams to gather information and that Uchiha Sasuke was his main target. When the hidden quest goal is reached, you get 100,000 experience. The mystery of Kabuto, a hidden quest, has been found. Find out all the secrets about Yakushi Kabuto. Hidden objectives. Bring the proctor's attention to what Yakushi is doing. Find out why Kabuto is taking the Chunin selection exam. Award for completion, 10 million express. Title, Tante. 100,000 express per hidden objective. Naruto would have cheered when the goal of the quest was reached, but the mood in the room would not have allowed him to do so. For now, go on home, said Sarutobi. Be sneaky about it, Jiraiya told them. Sarutobi asked Naruto as he was leaving, how's he doing? As the door shut behind him, Naruto couldn't hear anything else. The trip home was quiet, with a lot of going back and forth and even a little bit of sneaking around in plain sight. Choji and Shikamaru were having a meal when transparent sneaking caught them in the act. Shikamaru asked, so, how is training with your dad going? Naruto knew he should probably tell them who he was or just leave, but he saw this as a chance to find out about Choji's training. It's good. I can change size much more quickly now, and my dad has even taught me a few Doden moves, he said. Anything good? The same armor technique that Naruto knows. He also taught me a tremor technique called Furu no Jutsu to throw people off balance. It's really cool. I stomp the ground to throw someone off balance, then hit them with a giant fist. It's actually a lot of fun. I've been practicing on the boars in training field 12. Nice. Information gives you power. Find out what you can about your possible opponents for the last round of the exam. Objectives. Figure out Toten Jutsu. Get Toten Jutsu to level 50. Find out what you can about your first opponents in the third round without getting caught. Find out information about at least 3 other possible third round opponents without getting caught. 1/3. Goals for extras. Award for completion, 500,000. 100,000 express per bonus objective. Completion failure, 100,000 express. Where have you been? Well, at first my mom was mad that I quit during the prelims, but when she heard about Gaara, who is a scary motherfucker, she was less mad, Shikamaru complained. Between her and my dad, I haven't had much time to rest since then. That's too bad, because even though Gaara is scary, I think I'd rather face him than your mother, Choji joked. My mom might nag a lot, but at least she won't kill me, or at least I don't think she will. Choji chuckled. True. Naruto had to work hard not to laugh at the joke, so he decided now was a good time to leave. The rest of his walk home went smoothly, and he didn't run into any of his friends or other people who could be trouble. Even so, it was a nice night for a walk. When he got home, Karen was already sitting at the kitchen table. Finally, you're home. Where the hell have you been? I'm starving here. You could have made something for yourself at your apartment. Yes, but that takes work, and I'm tired from training today. Your excuses are getting old, Karen. You need to start taking care of yourself. What will happen when I leave the village on a mission? She said that it wasn't because she couldn't take care of herself. Then prove it, Naruto said, opening his cabinet and pulling out a box of instant ramen. He then put water in a kettle and put it on the stove to boil. I don't eat that much ramen, Karen insisted. This is for me, you're on your own. He was sick of Karen taking advantage of him. Most of the time, he didn't mind, but tonight, for some reason, she pushed too hard. That's so rude, she almost told him in a loud voice. Speak for yourself. I've been nothing but kind to you, and this is how you treat me. Karen stewed in silence for a minute. Okay, I guess I have used your kindness a little bit, but I'm not used to it. No one has ever done anything for me before, so I'm just waiting for you to be like them. Did you ever think that by taking advantage of me, I'd treat you like they do? Not that I would, but... Well, anyway. Stop taking advantage of me, we're family and should act like it. So I'll make a deal with you. I'll make breakfast every day as long as I'm home, but you're responsible for dinner and we're on our own for lunch. Deal? As Karen thought about what Naruto had said, she made a frown. She had never been able to take advantage of anyone else. It was always the other way around. Which she didn't like, so why wouldn't Naruto hate the fact that she was using him? I'm sorry, Naruto-sensei. I didn't like it when Kusa took advantage of me, so I shouldn't have done the same to you. I'll just take your deal and say thank you. Okay, so would you like some instant ramen for dinner tonight? Sure. I'll make sure to go grocery shopping tomorrow. You've been to bed and slept there. HP and CP have been fully fixed. So, who's left? Jiraiya asked after Asuma, Karen, and the clones had left. I still need to find out more about Gaara. On the way back from the old man's office, I was able to scout Choji, and I'd like to find out more about Neji while I'm at it. Who else? Lee, Kiba, Shino, and Kankuro, Naruto replied. Okay, so Lee should be easy to scout. He'll be with Guy on training field 4. Neji will be much harder to get to, since his Byakugan will see right through your Toten Jutsu. The Aburame and Inuzuka probably will too. Your best bet for them is to get the information from their friends and associates. People they might have trained with. Kankuro and Gaara will take some work. So, I need to get inside, said Naruto. Maybe, but maybe you can talk to some of the people from Suna who have come to watch the finals. You'd be surprised how much information you can get that way. This isn't going to be an easy task, is it? No, but most things that are worth doing aren't easy, Jiraiya said. Now get out of here. Naruto groaned and snuck out of his building. He needed to find out more about Neji and maybe even a little about Lee, and he knew that Tenten was the best person to ask. When Naruto went into Higarashi's house, he was shocked to feel his henge taken away as soon as he stepped inside. What in the hell? Anti-henge seals, said Tenten from the back of the store. You wouldn't believe how many academy students sneak in here to buy stuff they shouldn't. So why are we out like this? Naruto frowned. He didn't like how easy it was to figure out who he was, but since he was already here, he'd have to make the best of it. I actually came to see you, but I didn't want anyone else to know. Oh, and what do you want to talk to me about? You're not here to tell me you love me forever or something dumb like that, are you? No, Naruto said in a clear way. I was actually hoping to get some information from you. Oh, and what did you want from me, a little old lady? Neji and Lee are both in the finals, and it's possible that I'll have to fight one of them in the finals. I'd like to know what they've been doing to train. You expect me to betray my teammates? Tenten asked him straight out. Don't betray them. Instead, gather information for them. Call it an information exchange. I already have some valuable information they might be interested in. Sorry, I'm not interested. If that's all you have to say, you can leave, she told him, glaring at the door. Well, I guess that didn't work, Naruto grumbled. Well, too bad. Is your dad here? Tenten kept staring at him, but she still yelled for him. Dad, Uzumaki is here. Tenten went to the back room as soon as Hiden came out. What did you do to irritate her? I was trying to find out something useful about Neji and Lee. I didn't expect my henge to be taken away so quickly when I walked in, so I had to think on my feet and flop. Moron, said Hiden. You should have come and talked to me. You? But. Why you? Tenten is a good girl, she works hard and all, but she has a crush on that Hyuga boy, and honestly, that kid scares me. He's always fate this and fate that. He needs to get stomped hard, and if I can do anything to help that happen then I'll be happy to. As for Lee, you're on your own there. Lee's a good kid, weird as hell but a good kid. That's great. So, what do you know about Neji? Not so fast, kid. We still haven't talked price. Price, you're going to make me pay for information? Information doesn't come for free. You might not even fight Neji, so why should I give you something so valuable? Naruto asked, so, what do you want? What do you have? A little over 400k in Rio, he said. Keep your money, kid. I know you've been looking for chakra mutations for a long time, and you've even brought some of the things you've found in here. But you never picked up what I made for you, which is too bad. What do you mean, my loss? You didn't come get them, so I sold them. You have 30 days to pick up any custom orders, after which I sell them to get my money back, so that's a start on paying me since I did make a little money from them. What else do you have? Naruto wasn't happy about losing the things, but he didn't mind getting rid of the crafting materials he couldn't use instead of spending his money. Hiden said he could make a lot of things, but none of them really interested Naruto. Even if they did, he probably would have sold them anyway. And if Naruto wanted to use any of the materials himself, he would have to give up his Fuinjutsu skill to get a skill that could do it. So, he opened his inventory and took out the spider silk. He then put half of the chitin from the crabs in wave on the floor because it wouldn't fit on the counter. He had to still convince Sakura to take her half of the chitin. Holy crap, that's a lot of chitin, kid. Where did you get it all? When Sakura-chan and I were in Nami a while ago, we found a sea cave full of them. We farmed that thing for more than a month. Okay, I'll take everything but 40 of the chitin, Hiden said. Isn't that quite a lot? Don't you think the information is useful? Deal, Naruto quickly replied. I can always get all of that stuff again anyway. If you do, I'll buy any you don't plan to use. Speaking of which, I'll buy the last of that chitin from you for 1,000 Ryo each. What even can you do with it? Hiden said, it's an armor reinforcer. I can put it on any piece of armor in this shop to make it stronger without adding any extra weight. How many pieces of gear would I need to fix all of mine? Coat, pants, forearms, and shin, about 20 pieces. Here's what I'll do. I'll put the 20 pieces on your gear in exchange for the other 20 pieces of chitin. Deal? Deal, said Naruto again. Okay, so just leave your gear with me and I'll have it ready in a week. I don't have any other clothes with me, Naruto said carefully, making Hiden laugh until he was full. The man went into the store and threw Naruto a simple long-sleeved shirt and black pants. Those will cost you 5,000 Ryo, which is as cheap as I can do. Do you have a changing room? Naruto asked. He showed Naruto where the bathroom was by pointing to a corner and giving him a look that said a lot. Okay, I'll be right back, the boy said as he ran inside to change. When he came back out, he put his gear on the counter. It feels weird to not have all my stuff on me. You'll get over it, said Hiden. Now, about what I know. I'm all ears, Naruto said as he leaned in. So, Neji is good, according to what Tenten has told me about him. It seems that the kid even figured out how to do some of the best techniques from the main branch, like Kaden and Hokage something or other. You can probably find out more about those if you ask around. but from the way she spoke, it sounds like a big deal. No, that's a great piece of information, Naruto said. I can use that. I've already seen him fight once, and I saw that Kaden. I can ask about the other technique, though. Information gives you power. Find out what you can about your possible opponents for the last round of the exam. Objectives. Figure out Totenjutsu. Get Totenjutsu to level 50. Find out what you can about your first opponents in the third round without getting caught. Find out information about at least 3 other possible third round opponents without getting caught. 2/3. Goals for extras. Award for completion, 500,000. 100,000 express per bonus objective. Completion failure, 100,000 express. Okay, then I'll pick up your stuff in a week. Roger that, see you then, Naruto said as he bounced out of the shop. He quickly ducked into the nearest alley and changed his look. His next stop was Lee in training field number 4. Naruto heard Lee's punches and kicks before he got close, and as soon as he did, he turned himself into a ghost. Sneaking into the field was easy, but he didn't get anything useful out of it. He sat there for hours and watched Lee beat on a training log. Yosha. Guy yelled as he came in. Lee yelled, "Guy-sensei," and ran to his sensei's side. After that, Naruto saw something that would keep coming back to his dreams and that he really wished he could forget. If he wasn't trying to hide, he would be screaming in pain as he tried to claw out his own eyes. Lee, you're my youngest student. Have you done all 5,000 punches and kicks? Yes, Guy-sensei. You are so young at heart, Yosha. I am so proud of you, my great student. Thank you, Guy-sensei. What will we be working on today? I'll give you a choice. Do you want to push your flames of youth and open the next young gate, or do you want to get even more conditioned? If we open the next gate, will I be able to get better in time for the finals? It's normal for young people to be careful and not let their spring flames burn out of control, but I think if you can get through the next gate today, you should be ready for the finals. What activity for young people would you suggest we do to get in great shape? Lee asked. Naruto didn't know what they meant by gates, but he thought it might be related to taijutsu. Yosha, if we can't do 100 laps around the village on our hands, we'll do 10,000 handstand push-ups, and if we can't do that, we'll do 20,000 squat thrusts. Guy yelled, way too excited for something that sounded like hell. Lee screamed with happiness. Sensei, let's fan the flames of youth and get strong enough to stay in the springtime of youth forever. Naruto wasn't sure what Lee had just said, but he figured they were going with conditioning because the boy did a handstand and ran out of the clearing, followed by a crying Guy. It didn't answer Naruto's question about the gates, but Jiraiya would be able to tell him. Information gives you power. Find out what you can about your possible opponents for the last round of the exam. Objectives. Figure out Totenjutsu. Get Totenjutsu to level 50. Find out what you can about your first opponents in the third round without getting caught. Find out information about at least 3 other possible third round opponents without getting caught. 3/3. Goals for extras. Award for completion, 500,000. 100,000 express per bonus objective. Completion failure, 100,000 express. Naruto was surprised to find out that that met his requirement for gathering information, but the quest didn't give him a reward for finishing it. So either it was broken or it wouldn't end until the final started. So he had more time to look around and maybe find the bonus goals. Naruto left the training field after that. He still needed information about Kiba and Shino, but they would know he was coming, so he'd have to think about how to get it, but for now, he was sure he could find some merchants from Suna. Again, Naruto was making his way through the village using the different alleys and side streets. As he went, he changed images at random. Afternoon, Naruto said to a shop owner near the hotel where the Suna team was staying. Good afternoon, can I get you something? He pointed to the hotel and asked, just curious, have you seen much of them? No, it's just strange that they never leave that hotel. You'd think they'd train or go shopping with their free time. What about the Suna merchants? Don't they stay in the same place? Another strange thing is that my friend Subumachu runs a hotel on the other side of the village. He told me that every Suna merchant stays there because they are afraid of being too close to the demon, if you believe that. That's strange. Well, thanks for the info, he said as he gave the merchant a small tip and thanked him for the info. So, They had to go back to the other end of the village to find the Suna merchants, who must have known something. It didn't take long to find the merchants, who were all drinking and talking loudly about the tournament that was coming up. He didn't really have to ask any of them anything because they were all talking about it. They talked about the failed attempts to kill him, his sand, and the demon inside him. They also laughed about how much money they were going to win betting on the demon, with the skin of sand that was so hard that no one had ever even scratched it. Konkuro, the demon's brother, was a little harder to find out about. He had to buy them drinks to get them to talk, which cost him a lot of ryo. Still, they didn't know much about him except that his Kugetsu was praised and that he could already control up to 3 puppets at the same time. Naruto also learned that being able to control so many at once was a pretty big deal. He also heard a lot of people complaining about how hard it was to get passes from the Kazekage to attend, and how there were only about an eighth as many passes as there were for the last Chunin exam in Konoha a few years ago. He heard things about the meeting from the night before that made him even more suspicious. When Naruto got back to his apartment, Jiraiya asked, "So, how did it go?" "Good," Naruto said, and then he took some time to explain what he knew. "That fuckhead guy," Jiraiya said in a loud voice. "What the hell is that man thinking by teaching a genin how to open the celestial gates? What exactly are the celestial gates? Everyone with chakra has 8 chakra centers in their bodies that are called the celestial gates. With training, a person can learn to open those gates. What will happen when those gates are opened? Just one gate can double a taijutsu expert's speed, strength, and dexterity. Open all 8 at once and you'll be God on Earth for about 30 seconds, and then you'll die. Most people can't handle opening even one celestial gate, but from what you heard, Lee can open several gates. This makes him a very dangerous opponent. How do I fight him then?" "That's what you need to figure out," Jiraiya said. "I can teach you the skills and coach you up a bit, but when the fight starts, you need to know what you're going to do. And you're assuming Lee will still be in the fight at that point. Look at the other side of the bracket. Hyuga Neji will face Aburame Shino, and Neji will probably win that fight. Lee against Konkuro, Lee will stomp a hole in Konkuro big enough for an Akamichi to walk through. There's your bracket then. Choji will fight Kiba, which could go either way until you know more about Kiba and what he might have learned this month. Then there's you and Uchiha, and you should make a mud hole in that little shithead before Gaara comes. You know what you're up against with Gaara. I've done everything I can to prepare you for him, but you still have to fight him and win or bad things could happen. Okay, I still need help gathering information about Kiba and Shino, but I'll start trying to figure out a plan for the rest," Naruto said. "You have friends, don't you? Have you considered hiring one of them?" Naruto blinked like an owl, he hadn't even thought about it. He knew that if he asked Shikamaru for help, he probably would, but he also knew that Shikamaru would share any information he got with Choji. Sakura might be able to help, too. If she pressed Ino for information, even gossip, it might help his spy work. So, go back out there, but before you do, learn that Uzumaki Fuinjutsu, skill book. Since it reached max level or level max or whatever the fuck you call it, your clone has been bored out of its mind. Naruto didn't think twice about opening his bag and taking out the book. You've obtained the skill book, Uzumaki Beginner Fuinjutsu. Do you want to learn how to do it? Naruto quickly pressed the Accept button. You've improved your Fuinjutsu skill to Uzumaki Fuinjutsu. Uzumaki Fuinjutsu, active, LV60EXP 0.00% carbon monophosphide, 20. A professional skill that lets you make seals that can be used to improve your gear, make explosives, or just put things away for later. Uzumaki seals are legendary, and seal masters everywhere are jealous of the creativity and ingenuity that goes into each one. Naruto said, "That's good. The clone can go to work now, and I'll go find Shikamaru." Naruto found Shikamaru without much trouble. He was at home, exhausted, and his mother was watching him train behind their house. "Naruto-kun," his mother said, crushing him in a hug. "Thank you so much for saving my Shika-chan's life." "Sure," said Naruto. "Anytime." "Oh, you must stay for dinner, I'm making venison steak." Again, Naruto said, "Sure," not knowing what else he could or should say. Then Yoshino was gone all of a sudden. "What's going on?" "My mother," Shikamaru said with a groan. "And Shika-chan?" "Don't ever call me that again," Shikamaru said in a tone that left no room for jokes. Okay, take it easy. So why are you here?" "I need your help," he said, and that was the truth. And what? I need information, he said again, being completely honest. What kind of information? My potential opponents. I'm not going to tell you anything about Choji. I'm not looking for information about Choji, because I can get that on my own. I need to find out more about Kiba and Shino. I know the basics of their skills and talents, but that's not enough, especially if they've learned anything new this month, Naruto said. If you can find out more about them, feel free to tell Choji. In fact, I'd encourage you to do so. Shikamaru asked, and what's in it for me? It looks like Shika didn't hold back tonight. Helping your friends isn't good enough? Yes, it is. I just wanted to ask if you could help me with something else. Oh, that's it? Sure, what help do you need? Just add me to a team so I can check something. Naruto did this without saying anything, and then he watched Shikamaru move quickly through several data screens and then close them all. Okay, I'm fine, you can break up the team. Naruto was taken aback. What? Is that it? Yes, I saw what I had to see. Naruto finally figured it out. You were looking over my information, right? Yep, answered Shikamaru. So you'll tell Choji what you know about me, but you won't do the same for him. That isn't nice or fair. I never said I'd give it to Choji. I wanted to know if I could place a bet or two on the day of the finals. There is something else going on, and I need to know where my allies stand. Naruto nodded to show that he understood. And he was glad that Shika wasn't turning against them. Stop by in a few days, and I'll see what I can find out about Kiba and Shino's training. Fine. Let's go inside and eat dinner with your family. Since we're talking about family, how is Karen doing? Good. I think we're starting to really get to know each other now that we've talked about some sensitive topics and rough spots. I think we're becoming more like brothers and sisters, so I'd say things are going well. Good to know. Come on, you two, dinner is ready. Yoshino said, stopping any more talk. Bonus for completing an objective, 100,000 express. Quest alert. Preparation T-30 hours 0 minutes and 0 seconds, 0 Prepare for the Chunin Selection Exam Stage 3 by working out harder than you ever have before. Objectives. Get to know Kachiyose no Jutsu. Learn how to chakra. Find out about Futon Affinity. Learn 3 Futon Jutsu. Learn 2 Doden Jutsu. Earn 10 levels to Fuinjutsu. Get to level 5. Goals for extras. Earn 25 levels to Fuinjutsu. Get 1 Toad Friendly. Award for completion, 500,000 express. Status buff that says, prepped for the day of the finals. 100,000 express per bonus objective. Completion failure, 100,000 express. Status buff for the day of the finals if you are underprepared. Naruto was surprised by that. He didn't really think that the bonus quest would be so easy. You coming? Shikamaru asked Naruto when he saw him stop. Huh, oh, yeah, sorry, quest update, he said as he caught up with Shikamaru. You've been to bed and slept there. HP and CP have been fully fixed. Jiraiya told the group, okay, brat, it's back to training today, as he came in through Naruto's window. Naruto looked funny at Jiraiya because he still didn't know anything about Shino or Kiba. Give it time, we need to finish that training quest. Do you still need another futon and Doten technique? Yes, I do, but I still have 2 weeks, don't I? Trust me, 2 weeks will be over before you know it. Morning, Asuma said as she walked into the apartment. This morning, he looked especially messy, and he didn't have a cigarette in his mouth, which was something he always did when Asuma came in. Jiraiya mused, someone had a good night, as if he knew something. Ooh, did Asuma-sensei get lucky? Asked Karen, focusing all of a sudden on the man. He did. He did get lucky. Asuma had the good sense to blush. Karen asked, was she any good? Tell me positions? Were you experimental? Karen asked, did you at least get her off? Did you go down? She did? Asuma yelled, okay, that's enough. The poor man looked very embarrassed. I have to live with this, so you should feel lucky, Naruto said. I still think you need to tell me when you plan to have your threesome with Neiko and Hayate-sensei, Karen said. Naruto begged, can we just go? Asuma was kind to him and used Shunshin to make them both disappear. Thank you so much, Mr. Asuma-sensei. No problem, I had to leave that place too. Anyway, since you're back here to train again, you can call your 2 toads and let them train in whatever way they want. Do you want to make clones again? Not yet. First, I'll teach you a new skill. Ooh, scroll? Not for this one, you'll have to work for this one. But if you learn this, I can teach you something pretty fucking awesome, if I do say so myself. Asuma showed off a little. He was obviously excited to teach today. Okay, so what have you got for me? Nature manipulation, he said in response. Isn't that Junin's skill? No, not always. Most shinobi don't learn it until they are Junin or about to become Junin. But you don't have to be an expert in this to learn what I'm teaching. All you need is a basic understanding of it. Okay, so how do I start? He was given a leaf by Asuma. Make it half as big. Asuma stopped Naruto from getting a kunai when he reached for one. Use your chakra, he told them. How can I do that? Like this, she said, holding a leaf between her two fingers. Naruto saw a small flash of chakra come from Asuma's hand. Then, when Asuma let the leaf fall, it broke in half. How did you manage to do that? Kei's Saishitsu Henka. You need to grind your chakra against itself, making it thinner and thinner and sharpening it as much as possible. That sounds hard, Naruto said. Warning. Cut the leaf. To cut a leaf in half, change your chakra into wind-type chakra. Objective. Learn Kei's Saishitsu Henka. Award for completion, 500,000 express. Completion failure, 100,000 express. It's tough, it's very, very tough. So hard that it takes some shinobi years to learn even one nature manipulation, let alone master one. So, I'd suggest making as many clones as you can and sending them to do the job. Make sure they know to dispel if they make any progress so that the information can be shared. Naruto nodded. So he made a clone, which split into 10 clones with 500 CP each. Each of these clones grabbed a leaf. While they did that and started working, Naruto filled up his chakra and made more copies of himself. Don't forget to call your toad friends, he said. Oh yeah, said Naruto. A moment later, he called up 2 toads. Naruto Nissan cheered Gamatotsu. Hey bro, what's up? Gamakichi was greeted. Naruto said, hey, guys, and gave each of them a candy. So, more training today, get on it. Oh, I wanted to play, Tatsu whimpered. Kichi scolded Tatsu, shut up, we're Gama shinobi, act like it. But, Kichi Nissan, Tatsu whimpered, looking sad and maybe a little bit down. Shut up, Tatsu, and let's go, said Kichi as he hopped away from Naruto, and Tatsu followed reluctantly. Naruto told them, if you guys work hard today, I'll give you more candy tonight when we're done training. Kichi didn't really need the bribe, but Tatsu did. Since he couldn't just promise Tatsu, he had to promise both of them to make them work harder. Even though the little yellow toad could heal wounds, he didn't call on it as often as he could have. Naruto called Gamatotsu for the first time a day after he called Kichi for the first time. The yellow toad with orange spots was a weakling. He didn't like to fight, because all he wanted to do was eat. So when Naruto had to decide what the little guy should do, it was easy for him to choose healing. Unfortunately, or luckily, depending on how you look at it, Tatsu's first healing ability was to use chakra to make a gland in his body secrete a healing oil through his skin. As long as Gamatotsu was touching Naruto's body, he would keep healing him as long as Naruto had chakra. It was gross, but it worked. Since the toads were off doing their own thing, Naruto went back to recharging his chakra between making clones. Naruto went to help Kichi and Tatsu train when there were more than 100 clones working. Nissan, why do I have to do this? Tatsu asked. Your healing will only work if you stay in touch with me. I can't ride on you right now because you're too small, so you have to ride on me. You're not going to be able to heal me if you fall off, are you? No, I don't think so. Okay, Kichi, use your Suiden Teppodama no Jutsu to try to knock him out. Tatsu, hold on to me while I try to get away. Okay, said Tatsu doubtfully. The little toad was clearly not sure of itself. So Naruto worked with the little toad, making new copies of himself as the old ones disappeared. Jiraiya and Karen eventually joined them. Jiraiya was happy to sit and watch with a bottle of sake while Karen worked on her physical training, which had gotten a lot better thanks to Naruto's gaming skill. Jiraiya finally called the real Naruto around noon. Hey, Ero Sennin, what's up? He said, here, and threw a scroll to Naruto. You now have the Doten Otoshiana no Jutsu skill scroll. Do you want to learn how to do it? Naruto was happy to learn how to do it. You now have the skill, Doden. Autoshiana no Jutsu. Doden. Autoshiana no Jutsu, Level 1, Active, Express, 0%, CP, 250. AC Rank Ninjutsu. Pitfall traps are a standard for shinobi, but they are hard to set up quickly. With Autoshiana, you can make a pitfall fall trap that has spikes and a thin layer of earth on top that will give way when stepped on. The most spikes you can make is 6. Max depth, 3 meters. The most width you can have is 3 meters. Cool, thanks Arrow Senin, he said. No problem, but watch out when you train that. Make sure you set the damned thing off every time you make one. You don't want some poor fool to die because you left a trap behind, Jiraiya said sternly. He threw another scroll at Naruto after that. You now have the Doden, Shinju Zanshu no Jutsu, Scroll of Skills. Do you want to learn how to do it? Oh, hell yeah, Kakashi-sensei used this on Sasuke before, Naruto said. After a moment of silence, he started to giggle, which quickly turned into a full-on maniacal laugh. He finally tapped the accept button, ignoring the looks he was getting from Jiraiya, Asuma, Karen, and even the two little toads. You've obtained the skill, Doden, Shinju Zanshu no Jutsu. Doden. Shinju Zanshu no Jutsu, Active, LV1EXP 0.00% carbon monophosphide, 100 plus 20 every 5 seconds while underground. AD Rank Ninjutsu. The person who uses this technique stays hidden underground and pulls the person they want to attack down into the ground, making them lose their freedom. Passively adds 15% to stealth's ability to stay hidden. Holy crap, Arrow Senin, that's a lot of jutsu to learn. Yeah, well, I'm not going to give you any more for a while, so you should practice as much as you can. Asuma called out to Naruto, hey, you're running out of clones. The man was somewhere in the group of clones that were still left. You heard him, give him more clones, and then practice the 2 skills you just learned. You got it, Naruto almost shouted, grinning from ear to ear and giving the pervert a fake salute. The next second, he was hit with 2 new quest windows. Quest Alert. Improve your Doden skills. Practice your Doden skills to make them more useful. Objectives. Get Doden. Autoshiana no Jutsu when you reach level 10. Award for completion. 100,000 Express. Completion failure. 10,000 Express. After he said yes, Naruto looked at the next quest. Quest Alert. Improve your Doden skills. Practice your Doden skills to make them more useful. Objectives. Earn 10 levels to Doden, Shinju Zanshu no Jutsu. Award for completion. 100,000 Express. Completion failure. 10,000 Express. Asuma yelled, Naruto, make clones. Naruto laughed and started making more clones. He had a lot of quests to finish. By the time it was getting close to evening, Naruto had finished both of Jiraiya's Doden quests. He also got a level, which was another goal of the training quest. He just needed one more futon move, and he'd have finished all of the main goals. Asuma said, okay, kid, I'm done for the day. Make sure you get rid of your clone slowly, he said. I don't want your brain to melt if you get rid of too many at once. With a shunshin, he was gone. And I have a date, Jiraiya said with a strange grin before also disappearing with a shunshin. I need to go shopping, said Karen. If you want to join me for dinner, it will be ready around 8 o'clock. Okay, I'll stay a little longer. There are a lot of clones to get rid of. Okay, Karen said, and then she wandered off. So Naruto sat down and waited for his clones to disappear. He held a leaf in his hands to keep himself busy since he would have to wait for so long. He didn't think he would be able to figure out the technique Asuma was pushing him to learn. When the quest is done, you get 500,000 Express. Warning. Cut the leaf. To cut a leaf in half, change your chakra into wind-type chakra. Objective. Learn Kei's Saishitsu Henka. Award for completion. 500,000 Express. Completion failure. 100,000 Express. Kei's Saishitsu Henka, active, passive, LV1X, 0% carbon monophosphide, 200. Nature transformation is a more advanced way to control your chakras. It involves shaping and defining one's chakra so that it has the nature of wind, which changes its properties and traits. Actively raise Whis by 1%. Actively add 1% more damage to futons. Nice, he said, but only his clones could hear him. What should we do now? Asked a clone. I don't know. Asuma-sensei said he'd teach us a new technique once we learned this one, so I guess we'll learn a new technique tomorrow. For now, I guess we should just keep dispelling. Seems like a waste, said another clone. Have you got a better idea? Another clone asked. Oh, what was that wind technique I saw that Baki guy using? There were no hand seals or anything, just wind manipulation. I bet we could figure it out. Remake the K's no Yaiba. This is a quest. You can do the deadly wind skill by taking what you learned from watching Baki and Hayate fight and putting it to use. Objective. Learn, Futon. K's no Yaiba no Jutsu. Award for completion, $250,000. Completion failure, 25,000. Nice, Naruto said once more. Let's do it. So Naruto and his slowly disappearing clones tried to do it again, but almost nothing worked. He knew it had something to do with controlling nature and making a blade with his fingers, but he didn't know much else. So even when the last clone went away, he hadn't won. You've been to bed and slept there. HP and CP have been fully fixed. It had been a few days since Naruto first used his chakra to cut a leaf, which Asuma thought was very cool. Since then, he had Naruto grind up cutting leaves to make it faster and stronger. Asuma told Naruto, get rid of the frogs and go, which made Naruto angry. It had become boring. Still, he did what was asked of him. With Kachiyose no Jutsu, he slapped the ground with his hand and called up 2 little toads at once, something he just learned he could do the day before. The level of Kachiyose no Jutsu has gone up by 1. Bonus for completing an objective, 100,000 Express. Quest alert. Preparation T-30 hours 0 minutes and 0 seconds, 0 Prepare for the Chunin Selection Exam Stage 3 by working out harder than you ever have before. Objectives. Learn how to use Kachiyose no Jutsu. Learn how to chakra. Get to know Futon Affinity. Learn 3 Futon Jutsu. Learn 2 Doden Jutsu. Earn 10 levels to Fuinjutsu. Get to level 5. Goals for extras. Earn 25 levels to Fuinjutsu. Get Kachiyose no Jutsu by getting to level 25. Get to know 1 toad. Award for completion, 500,000 Express. Status buff that says, prepped for the day of the finals. 100,000 Express per bonus objective. Completion failure, 100,000 Express. Status buff for the day of the finals if you are underprepared. Cool. Naruto yelled with joy. Oh, sweets. Where are they? Tatsu asked. With just those 3 words, Naruto's party was cut short. Why did Tatsu have to act like that? Silly? When Naruto said, here you go, he gave each of them a small candy. Naruto went back to cutting leaves after that. Let me know when you get to level 10 with that skill, Asuma said as he lit a cigarette. Naruto said, okay, it should only take about an hour, since his skill was already at level 8. He knew right away that it took a long time to get better at this skill. Jiraiya and Karen would come later, since it was still early. Karen had just started learning Fuinjutsu, so Jiraiya was helping her while also pushing one of Naruto's clones on it. When Naruto thought about it, he remembered that he needed to go to Higarashi's to get more sealing supplies and his upgraded gear. Naruto also thought that he should check in with Shikamaru to see if he knew anything about how Kiba and Shino were training. Before he knew it, he had reached the 2 levels that Asuma wanted him to reach. Asuma-sensei, I just got my Kei Saishitsu Henka skill to level 10, just like you asked. Good job. Now I'll show you the skill I want to teach you. Asuma took out his chakra to and an old kunai. His chakra to cut through the kunai like a hot knife through butter. That is my heen technique. You'll figure it out. Cut the kunai, if you're on a quest. Use your chakra to and wind type chakra to cut a kunai in half. Objective. Learn, Futon. Heen no Jutsu. Award for completion, 500,000 Express. Completion failure, 100,000 Express. How does it work? Naruto asked as he took on the mission. You bring wind-natured chakra to the edge of your chakra tube. The wind chakra will sharpen the blade and can even make it reach farther. Why don't you just try it out? Naruto took one of his chakra to out of the sheath on his belt near his lower back. At first, he pushed chakra into it like he did with chakra nagashi, but that was all it was. It took him a while to focus the chakra he was channeling into wind chakra, even though he had practiced it a lot. Through a special act, a special skill has been made. Futon. Hin no Jutsu, LVL. One has been made by using your chakra to make a sharp edge. Futon. Hin no Jutsu, Level 1, Active, Express, 0%, CP, 50 every 5 seconds. AB Rank Ninjutsu. It is an addition line ninjutsu that increases the killing power of a blade, like a kunai or sword, by flowing chakra into it. It does 100 to 150 damage by cutting and 5 to 10 damage by causing bleeding. When active, the length of the blade grows by 1%. When the quest is done, you get 500,000 express. Cut the kunai, if you're on a quest. Use your chakra 2 and wind type chakra to cut a kunai in half. Objective. Learn, Futon. Hin no Jutsu. Award for completion, 500,000 express. Completion failure, 100,000 express. Your level has gone up by 1, so congrats. Naruto said, that was easy, and he was very happy about the skill and level he got as a result. Asuma said, if you know how to change into nature, it's not a hard technique. It's learning how to change into nature that's damn near impossible. Now, you just need to practice using it. Quest alert. Improve your futon skills. Practice your doton skills to make them more useful. Objectives. Get futon. Hin no Jutsu when you reach level 10. Award for completion, 100,000 express. Completion failure, 10,000 express. Oh, for fuck's sake, Naruto grumbled. What happened? Nothing, it's just another fucking quest. Since you and Ero Sennin invited me to train with you, I've been getting a lot of quests. When I turn one in, another one comes up. It makes no sense at all. Let me see if I understand. You're upset about getting stupidly easy practice before going into a tournament where your life could be at risk? Well. When you say it that way, it sounds dumb as fuck. Then just shut up and get to work, said Asuma, rolling another cigarette because the one he was smoking was almost done. On that day, he mostly just practiced the skills he already knew well and worked out to get the extra stat points he would get when he leveled up. Naruto finished training a little early, so he went to Higarashi's to get his equipment and stock up on Fuinjutsu supplies before going to see Shikamaru. So? Naruto asked after they had said hello. Kiba and Akamaru have been working on a technique called Two-Headed Wolf. It gives Kiba a lot more power, but he moves so fast that he can't see what he's attacking. Shino seems to be working on making it faster for him to release bugs. I think I also saw him copy a bug. Where did you find out this? Asked Naruto, who was blown away. There are many ways to use the deer antlers we collect. I offered to deliver packages to Aburame and Inuzuka for the next few weeks. Naruto laughed and said, that's great. He was really amused by it. No one had any doubts? No, I haven't done that before. It's just been a while. So I could make some extra money while my team is on break. I made up a story about helping out. Neat, good job, buddy. Bonus for completing an objective, 100,000 express. Information gives you power. Find out what you can about your possible opponents for the last round of the exam. Objectives. Figure out Totenjutsu. Get Totenjutsu to level 50. Find out what you can about your first opponents in the third round without getting caught. Find out information about at least 3 other possible third round opponents without getting caught, 3/3. Goals for extras. Find out as much as you can about all of your possible opponents in the third round without getting caught. Award for completion, 500,000. 100,000 express per bonus objective. Completion failure, 100,000 express. Nice, the bonus goal is done. Seriously? Yes, I've learned everything I can about everyone I could fight, he said. That's pretty amazing, how did you do that? I'll tell you after the exams, Naruto said, finally getting Shikamaru's plan. Did you understand that? Just a little, but I'll see you later. I'm worn out. The day has been full. Later, Naruto. Later, Shika. After a good night's sleep, your HP and CP are back to normal. Naruto's skills kept getting better as the days went by. He even finished a few quests along the way. Bonus for completing an objective, 100,000 express. When the quest is done, you get 500,000 express. Information gives you power. Find out what you can about your possible opponents for the last round of the exam. Objectives. Figure out Totenjutsu. Get Totenjutsu to level 50. Find out what you can about your first opponents in the third round without getting caught. Find out information about at least 3 other possible third round opponents without getting caught, 3/3. Goals for extras. Get Toten Jutsu to level 75. Find out as much as you can about all of your possible opponents in the third round without getting caught. Award for completion, 500,000. 100,000 express per bonus objective. Completion failure, 100,000 express. Around the same time, he was able to recreate the futon, Kei's no Yeba no Jutsu, but he didn't have much time to train it. When the quest is done, you get 250,000 express. Remake the Kei's no Yeba. This is a quest. You can do the deadly wind skill by taking what you learned from watching Baki and Hayate fight and putting it to use. Objective. Learn, Futon, Kei's no Yeba no Jutsu. Award for completion, $250,000. Completion failure, 25,000. Still, finishing that will get you right to another bonus goal. Bonus for completing an objective, 100,000 express. Quest alert. Preparation T-30 hours 0 minutes and 0 seconds, 0 Prepare for the Chunin Selection Exam Stage 3 by working out harder than you ever have before. Objectives. Learn how to use Kachiyose no Jutsu. Learn how to chakra. Get to know Futon Affinity. Learn 3 Futon Jutsu. Learn 2 Doden Jutsu. Earn 10 levels to Fuin Jutsu. Get to level 5. Goals for extras. Learn at least 1A rank or higher Futon Jutsu. Earn 25 levels to Fuin Jutsu. Get Kachiyose no Jutsu when you reach level 25. Get to know 1 Toad. Award for completion, 500,000 express. Status buff that says prepped for the day of the finals. 100,000 express per bonus objective. Completion failure, 100,000 express. Status buff for the day of the finals if you are underprepared. The finals are tomorrow, brat. Are you ready? Jiraiya asked Naruto as she sat down next to him. Naruto was sitting on his father's head and looking out over the village. He was thinking about all the changes that had happened in the past month. So much had changed in just a month that it was almost too much to take in. I think so, he said slowly. Do you think I'm ready? No, but you will be, Jiraiya said. In that way, you're like your mom and dad. Your mom, in particular, was never ready for anything until it was happening. You should have seen how busy they were getting ready for you. What a mess, man. Based on what the self-proclaimed super pervert had told him, Naruto couldn't help but laugh. I could see that, if you weren't lying your ass off to me, he said. I would never, the pervert said, but he didn't look the least bit sincere. No, you wouldn't, Naruto said as a joke. Okay, if you're ready, I think we can say that my contract has been met. Agreed? Agreed, said Naruto. When the quest is done, you get 500,000 express. Status buff for the day of the finals that says, prepared. Quest alert. Preparation T-0 hours 11 minutes and 3 seconds, 36.98. Prepare for the Chunin Selection Exam Stage 3 by working out harder than you ever have before. Objectives. Learn how to use Kachiyose no Jutsu. Learn how to chakra. Get to know Futon Affinity. Learn 3 Futon Jutsu. Learn 2 Doden Jutsu. Earn 10 levels to Fuin Jutsu. Get to level 5. Goals for extras. Learn at least 1A rank or higher Futon Jutsu. Earn 25 levels to Fuin Jutsu. Get Kachiyose no Jutsu when you reach level 25. Get to know 1 Toad. Award for completion, 500,000 express. Status buff that says prepped for the day of the finals. 100,000 express per bonus objective. Completion failure, 100,000 express. Status buff for the day of the finals if you were underprepared. Your level has gone up by 1, so congrats. Damn it. Status. Name, Uzumaki Naruto. The Gamer's Class. Genin, plus 10 points added to the amount of experience gained. Level. LV35 next level, 21.14%. Belongs to Konoha. HP. 8,263 8,263. CP. 5,704 5,704. STR. 134, 68.40, equals 202.40. VIT, 117, 359.25, equals 476.25. Dex, 134, 83.70, equals 217.70. Int, 107, 113.38, equals 220.38. Wis, 107, 107.54, equals 214.54. Luck. Def. 489.00, 122.25, equals 611.25. SPD. 99, 171.50, equals 270.50. Status. Uzumaki Clan Heir, plus 100, Vit, plus 100, Int, plus 150% experience to Fuinjutsu, Skill, Kyuubi Jinchuriki, plus 100 HP and plus 100 CP per level, Inspirational Leader, plus 25% to any team's experience gain. Kamikaze, 25% cost to Futon Jutsu, plus 20% damage to Futon Jutsu, prepared 24 hours 0 minutes and 0 seconds .00, plus 10% damage to SKU. Uzumaki Naruto is the last person to graduate this year. He rated so low because he couldn't make a basic bunshin. After the test, Naruto proved his worth by stopping a traitor and learning 2A rank Kinjutsu. His family is now revealed, and he is the son of the Yondaime Hokage Namikaze Minato and the Nidaime Kyuubi Jinchuriki Uzumaki Kushina. Point. 11. Ryo. 454,650.
So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel for more awesome stories like this. Thank you. See you all in my next video.